Master Aging Gracefully, 5 revolutionary Buddhist teachings from Zen Buddhism. What if I told you that the most profound Buddhist wisdom isn't found in perfect meditation postures or youth, but in the very wrinkles you've been trying to erase? Imagine discovering that each grey hair, each creak in your joints, each moment of forgetfulness isn't a failure, but actually the universe's most patient teacher. The ancient Zen masters knew a radical truth about aging that most of us miss entirely, one that transforms getting older from a burden into your greatest spiritual opportunity. Today, I'm sharing the 5 revolutionary Buddhist teachings that completely changed how I view every birthday candle, and why the wisest monks actually celebrate what the rest of us fear. You know, it's funny. We spend so much of our lives striving, chasing, trying to hold on to things that, ultimately, are as ephemeral as a rainbow. But the real magic, the true joy, lies in letting go and embracing the present moment, exactly as it is. Let me tell you a story. Embracing imperfection, the first Buddhist truth. My grandmother, a wise and mischievous soul, was a huge influence on me. She was deeply rooted in her Zen practice. She had this beautiful but visibly cracked ceramic bowl. It was her favorite bowl for her tea ceremonies. One day, I, being the ever so helpful and slightly clumsy grandchild, offered to replace it. I mean, the crack was so obvious. Surely, a pristine new bowl would be better, right? I presented it to her with a flourish. She accepted it gracefully, but then she took out the old cracked bowl and she told me about its story. "This crack," she said, gently tracing it with her finger, "is where the light comes in. This bowl is part of a batch she made back in the days. Her friend made one too. She has since passed away. If I replace this, I would throw away the memory of my friend. It reminds me of impermanence, of the beauty in imperfection. It reminds me to be grateful for what is, not what I think it should be." She then served me tea in both bowls. The tea tasted the same, of course, but the experience of drinking from that cracked bowl, it was profoundly different. The story, the history, the acceptance, it added a depth that the new bowl simply couldn't offer. And that, my friends, is the first key to finding peace as we age. Embrace imperfection. Buddhism teaches us that everything is impermanent. We are not meant to stay forever young, perfect, or untouched by life. Our bodies change, our minds evolve, our circumstances shift. Fighting this natural flow is like trying to stop the tide with a teacup. It's exhausting and ultimately futile. True freedom comes from accepting the cracks, the wrinkles, the grey hairs as signs of a life fully lived, a life filled with experiences, lessons, and love. It's not about avoiding the crack, it's about finding the light that shines through it. So, how do we actually do this? How do we move from resisting aging to genuinely embracing it? Well, it starts with understanding that seeing endings as new beginnings, the second Buddhist truth. There's a classic Zen story about a monk who was distraught by the falling leaves in autumn. He saw it as a sign of decay, of death approaching. He went to his master, lamenting the loss of summer's vibrant green. The master simply smiled and said, "Look closer. The falling leaves nourish the earth, preparing it for new life in the spring. They become the foundation for future growth." That monk was so focused on what was ending that he completely missed the beauty of what was beginning. And that brings us to our second truth. See endings as new beginnings. Aging often feels like a series of losses: loss of youth, loss of loved ones, loss of abilities. But what if we reframed these losses as opportunities for growth? What if we saw retirement not as the end of our career, but as the beginning of a new chapter filled with possibilities? What if we saw physical limitations not as a sign of weakness, but as an invitation to explore new ways of moving, of being, of expressing ourselves. Sounds nice in theory, right? But how do we cultivate that mindset? How do we actually train ourselves to see the beauty in impermanence? It's not about positive thinking, it's about shifting our perspective, which brings us to practicing compassion, the third Buddhist truth. I remember a time when I was holding on to a lot of anger towards someone who had hurt me deeply. I spent weeks crafting this scathing letter, pouring all my resentment and pain onto the page, but I never sent it. Instead, I sat with it. I reread it. I realized that the anger was hurting me more than it was hurting the other person. I then took that letter and I made a commitment to myself to burn it and forgive the person. I then committed myself to meditation. Through the meditation, I understood and embraced the suffering they are facing. In the process, I learned the importance of finding forgiveness within myself, which leads us to our third truth: practice compassion. Now, compassion isn't just about feeling sorry for others. It's about understanding their suffering, recognizing our shared humanity, and responding with kindness and empathy. It starts with being compassionate towards ourselves, accepting our own flaws and imperfections. It extends to being compassionate towards others, even those who have wronged us. As we age and inevitably experience more pain and loss, compassion becomes an essential tool for navigating life's challenges. Okay, so we're embracing imperfection, seeing endings as new beginnings, and practicing compassion. But what about the fear of the unknown? What about the anxiety that comes with facing our own mortality? Cultivating acceptance, the fourth Buddhist truth. There's a Buddhist teaching often told in the monasteries about a gardener who was planting seeds. A curious child asked him, "How do you know these seeds will grow into beautiful flowers?" The gardener replied, "I don't know. I have faith. I prepare the soil. I water the seeds. I provide the conditions for growth. The rest is up to nature." The gardener understood that he couldn't control the outcome, but he could focus on creating the right conditions. And that's our fourth truth: cultivate acceptance. Acceptance isn't about resignation or giving up. It's about acknowledging reality, understanding that some things are beyond our control, and choosing to focus our energy on what we can influence. We cannot stop aging, but we can choose how we age. We can choose to focus on our health, our relationships, our spiritual growth. We can choose to live each day with intention and purpose. Acceptance frees us from the struggle against what is and allows us to embrace the present moment fully. So, we've embraced imperfection, seen endings as new beginnings, practiced compassion, and cultivated acceptance. But what about the most fundamental question of all? What's the point? Finding meaning in the present, the fifth Buddhist truth. Imagine you're rowing a boat down a river. The sun is shining, the water is calm, and you're making good progress. You're feeling content, even peaceful. Then, bam, another boat slams into yours. The impact jars you, almost throws you overboard. Instinctively, you look up, anger flaring. You're ready to unleash a torrent of frustration on the careless idiot who just ruined your peaceful journey. But then, you see that the other boat is completely empty. There's no one at the oars, no one to yell at, no one to blame. Who can you be angry at? What is there to hold on to? This, my friends, is a classic Zen koan, a riddle designed to shatter our habitual ways of thinking. It challenges our reflexive reactions, our tendency to assign blame, to grasp at something, anything, to justify our feelings. But what happens when there's literally nothing to grasp? This empty boat scenario isn't just a cute story. It's a powerful metaphor for life, especially as we age. Think about it. How many times do we get bumped by empty boats? A health scare throws your retirement plans off course. A friendship ends abruptly. Your body doesn't cooperate the way it used to. A project that has deep meaning to you comes to an end. The world seems to shift without reason. We get angry, frustrated, resentful. We look for someone or something to blame. A few years ago, I knew someone who poured their heart and soul into their job. They worked tirelessly, always going above and beyond. Then, suddenly, the company downsized, and their position was eliminated. They were devastated. They were furious and angry. They raged at his boss. They blamed the company. They stewed in resentment. They saw it as a personal betrayal, a sign that their hard work meant nothing. But eventually, after weeks of struggling, they had a moment of clarity. They realized that the company's decision wasn't a reflection of their worth. It was just a business decision, an empty boat bumping into their life. While the anger was valid, holding on to it was only hurting them. They finally began to process and realize that the business downsize wasn't their fault. Just like with the boat, no one was at the wheel. The blame wasn't the thing to hold on to, but rather the freedom in taking control. And that brings us to our final crucial truth as we navigate aging. Find meaning in the present. The empty boat reminds us that life throws curveballs, often without reason or explanation. Ultimately, the meaning of our lives isn't something we find in the past, in our accomplishments, or in the future, in our aspirations. It's something we actively create in the present moment, through our actions, our relationships, and our connection to something larger than ourselves. This becomes even more vital as we age. As the future stretches out less predictably, and as the past recedes into memory, the present moment becomes our anchor. We have the opportunity to reflect on our lives, not to dwell on regrets, but to identify our core values, what truly matters to us, and then to consciously choose to live in alignment with those values, right now. Not tomorrow, not when we're ready, but in this very moment. We should do it every day. It isn't something that happens once. The present moment is all we truly have. It is where life unfolds, where meaning is created, where joy is experienced. It's the only boat we can truly steer. When the empty boats of life bump into us, we can choose to cling to anger and resentment, or we can choose to let go and focus on navigating our own vessel with intention, compassion, and grace. It's about taking an approach with peace rather than violence. In this moment, there is no reason to feel angry or sad. In this moment, there is peace. In this moment, the past and the future don't matter. Embrace it and breathe. As the Zen saying goes, the obstacle is the way. The challenges of aging, the bumps from the empty boats, can actually become opportunities for growth, for deepening our understanding of ourselves and the world, and for creating a life filled with meaning and purpose. Choose to embrace the way. So, there you have it. 5 Buddhist truths to help you embrace aging with grace and wisdom. Remember, aging is not a disease to be cured, but a natural process to be embraced. It's an opportunity to deepen our understanding of ourselves, to cultivate compassion, and to live a more meaningful life. Let go of the need to control the uncontrollable. Embrace the present moment fully, and trust in the wisdom of your own heart. Look at the wisdom of old trees. Notice how their shape shows signs of storms weathered, which gives it its character. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these truths resonates most with you? What are your biggest fears about aging, and how are you working to overcome them? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's create a community of support and wisdom here at Moonmind Temple. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more insights on living a mindful and meaningful life. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Remember, you are not getting older, you are getting wiser. You are not losing your beauty, you are transforming it. And you are not facing the end, you are embarking on a new beginning. Embrace the journey, my friends. Embrace the moon mind within.